This is a little bit harder than I thought it was going to be. I thought that almost 3 years of standing here in front of this camera would have set me in good stead for a day like today, and I think I'm just about as nervous today as I was the very first drive that I did. Welcome to Juma, everybody. My name is Marc. Tara's on camera with me today, and wonderfully we have Sipiwe with us again. Kind of makes it feel like the old days in a way, with Sipiwe back in final control. And Sipiwe came in to help us for these last couple of drives because we've been a little bit short. But welcome to Juma Game Reserve this afternoon. The sky has lifted enough to give us a great afternoon. There are a few heavy dark clouds, but I think they're a little bit too high to do anything, to do any damage. So I hope we're going to have a wonderful afternoon. So join me, let's go for a drive and let's go and find something. Let's go and see a few things. I want to say goodbye to a few things. Well, say so long, not goodbye. But I want to go and see a few things because just because. So, hello everybody. Let's go and see something. I've just been looking at all the impala just across the open area in that little gap between Yuri and Inga's house. Tara tells me they were complaining this morning, and well, there was a leopard here last night, and rather a strange leopard actually, I believe. He was a leopard that was seen with Induna up on Triple M, and from what I understand is a leopard that seemed to make himself quite at home here at the lodge. And I'm wondering if it wasn't Mishu. Sadly, we didn't get to see him last night, and evidently he's got a bit of a cut on his neck or something. I was talking to Tristan, who saw him both up on Triple M and saw him coming into the lodge as he came into camp last night. Tristan from Chitwa. And I actually wonder, because they won't really know Mishu as well as we would. Anyways, we'll come around later. We'll come around Buyatela and see if there's something around here. For now, let's start with Philemon's Dip. Say goodbye to the sausage tree. Somebody's been using that as a regular shortcut where it never was before. I had mentioned this morning when I was chatting to all the viewers this morning, because we had rain to begin with, and then I got so involved with chatting that I completely missed the whole rain stopping thing until it was almost too late. But I did find that taking the opportunity to chat to everybody on a much more personal level than is out here on a game drive, I think I needed that. I think if maybe some of the viewers needed that too. But from my point of view, I think I needed that to be able to be more on a one-on-one basis. And well, we still got 2 drives tomorrow. Tara will be on drive tomorrow, talking about how we can mix it up a little bit in the afternoon, and we'll figure that out tomorrow. Munzuku nakona ironasiku. If I said that wrong, Sipiwe, please let me know. But that means tomorrow's another day. Mañana. Kesho. Usikongine. Now, once and for all, before I go, I want to see if anything is growing on the sausage tree. Because by now there would be something that would be at least a few inches long and thicker than my thumb, since it was fruiting so long ago. If there was anything growing, it would be there by now. So let's go and have a look at that. Unfortunately the pump is on, so it's making quite a noise. going to go around the back of the tree, because we've had a pretty good look around the front of the tree and there's nothing in the front of the tree, or this side, the side that we see all the time. But just looking around this end, I just have this sneaky suspicion that this year there are not going to be any fruits. No, I'm seeing all the stems. In fact, I'm seeing a bunch of beetles on some of the stems, and I'm wondering if maybe it's a species of beetle that is responsible for fruits not growing, and not necessarily the birds that damaged the flowers before they could pollinate. In fact, there's one over there. You can see the silhouette of two of them mating, two of those beetles. I don't know if you can see which one I'm looking at. It's almost on one of those back lower, not the very lowest one with the leaves, but the next branch up to the right with the leaves a little bit further in. Some of those flower stems hanging down. And I think I've got even the same species of beetle on this senna right in front of me. I'm going to be in your way. Yeah, right here. Can you get my fingers? Because he's going to fly. Okay. And I hope you can hear me. I need to sit here on the dashboard. I can't kneel down like that anymore. Oh, that's the microphone. Maybe not a good idea. There. Oh. It's a flower or a fruit chafer, one of the chafer beetles, and it's a male, and he's angry, and he's gonna fly.
Oh, we kind of got it.
Thanks, Apiwe, and thanks, Roy. Interesting. Maybe our leopard made a kill at Gowrie Dam. Roy, off the North Carolina coast, saying something dead at Gowrie Dam. Okay, let's go and have a look at that. Now the flower and the fruit chafer is actually subfamily of the scarabs. The cetonid beetles, and well, some of them are flower chafers and some of them are fruit chafers, and I think this particular species maybe a bit of both. I don't really know it. I haven't seen it before, and I think that those birds, no, they're not birds, they're beetles. Those beetles that are up there are the reason why nothing is happening on that tree. Whoa, am I in a hole? I'm coming in slightly, or rather going out slightly different to the way I came in. Elephant have been digging. Actually, we can't quite go to the lodge just yet, or onto the dam wall, because of the guests at the lodge. They're only leaving at 4:30. They're probably still having tea, so we'll just wander around first, and maybe Texan can investigate. Let's get past this noisy pump. So, just to conclude once and for all that there are no fruits growing on the sausage tree this year. Maybe we can come back next year and have a look. I'll go and have a look at Treehouse Dam quickly. Just some time. I'm hoping to see a few flowers after this bit of rain. The bush has opened up a little bit. Just before we had the rain, it was starting to get hot and dry, and a lot of the grass blades were all closed up. A lot of leaves were drooping. It was getting that hot, dry, parched kind of feel to the bush, and this rain has miraculously opened everything up tremendously. Obviously it needs a bit of sunshine to bring out a few more flowers, but I think some things have just been poised, waiting for this bit of rain. There's been at least 2 inches of rain falling over the last about 48 hours or so. I wonder if anybody knows there's anything different today. And I just hope it doesn't rain. I've got hairy caterpillar hairs all over me because I'm itching. So, my idea this afternoon, to visit each of the dams, beetle, to visit some places that I want to see before I go. I'd like to get up to Cheetah Cut Line. I want to visit the orchids, say one last photo of the orchids.
Okay. I checked my route. I will be coming from the west side. I'm getting down.
Taxi on drive already. Are you on drive already? Are there any guests still at the lodge? Okay, copy, thanks. See, with this amount of rain that has fallen and the bush being quite wet, there isn't really that need for creatures to come down to the dams as much as there was in the past. Dam levels haven't changed very much. There's perhaps a minuscule difference to the water level. It needs a lot more rain than this to make any sort of difference to the water level. We need to get the drainage lines flowing. That's the runoff that you might get that might fill the dams a little bit, won't really be noticeable, but it's with those heavy rains that come that there is so much runoff that all the drainage lines start flowing, and those are the rains that are more likely to fill up some of the dams. I think if anything, the one thing that it has done is maybe settled the algae bloom or algal bloom that was starting on a couple of the dams.
How far are you going to go along the boundary? All the way to the center? I'll come from the first time, not again, very fast along the boundary.
Already the Ludwigia is starting to grow back again. Oh, look here. I promised this flower to some of our anniversary people the other day. Anybody having let me try that again. Anybody having an anniversary today? And I wonder what that insect is. Can't see it from here and my binoculars won't focus too close. Might just be a fly. Is it a fly or a bee? Solitary bee.
A couple of ants and then there's a bee.
There's an ant and a tiny little bee.
Yeah.
Pavetta, the bride's bush. And the weaver's nests are building up. 6 with the 7th one nearly complete, and judging by the vibration in those leaves, there's somebody in that nest. Some on the buffalo thorn, some on the knob thorn. We'll get there in a minute. Could be somebody in that nest. You can see one of the freshly woven ones still green. Of course the grass blades dry out very quickly and it turns yellow and brown very quickly, but they do have to weave with green strands. They don't only use grasses. In suburbia you find weaver nests stripping palm leaves. Here comes one of the males now with a piece of grass. He's probably going to come to this green one. Yes. Busy building this green one, new green blade of grass. We don't have any of the palms here or anything else that they could pull long strands of green from, but they're quite adept at pulling apart all sorts of leaves to get long thin strands if they don't have the right grasses. Guy's weaving it. And you're telling me that humans invented basket weaving? This little boy was the inventor of it all. Thanks, Molly. Thanks, Apiwe. Molly's saying, yeah, I'm also smelling. Could this be the buffalo dung in the mud? Molly's saying, what's different today is that I'm wearing my dress hat. Indeed. Joanne's hatch. Not really a carcass smell. It's not quite a dung smell either. It's rather a strong smell of something. Yeah, he's coming back with another blade of grass. So he secures it inside, and then watch. He's gonna. Oh, he dropped it. Well, pick it up. I can see a terrapin also making its way to the water on the other side of the mud. It's not like there's a shortage of grass, Mr. Weaver. You know, you don't have to find the same blade. You could always go and pick another one. He's searching for the blade of grass that he dropped.
That's the other type of terrapin.
That is the hinged terrapin. It's got a very flat carapace, flatter than the pan or the marsh terrapin. That's the serrated hinged, probably. The other terrapin that we get here. I don't know if you've noticed it, but it was very much flatter. Also sort of more flared around the edges. So he gave up on that blade of grass. I guess he's gone to get another one. I'm going to wait until he comes back with another blade of grass, so you can see how he weaves it. Did you get the other one that he was weaving?
Yeah.
I've sat and watched a weaver weave from the beginning to the end of his nest. It's taken a long time. 3 days. But then I couldn't go anywhere. I had no choice but to sit and watch him. Another chapter in my life. Okay, we're waiting for you, Mr. Weaver. It's funny how there be grass everywhere. Long, tall, thin, green strands. Yet he'll fly 100 meters to find one particular blade of grass that suits him just perfectly. It's like the little blue waxbill, the little male blue waxbill, when he's courting his female, and that'll come in a little while when the panicums are starting to get their flower heads. When he'll search for the perfect flower head. There might be thousands around him, and he even might pick a couple before he eventually selects the right one, and then he takes that one and he does a little dance for his lady love and presents her with this, well, I call it a flower head, but it's an inflorescence of the grasses. Very neat to watch. There he is. What have you got now? That's a leaf. That's not... Oh, it's a different weaver. No, it's the same one. Something flew out of the other nest. The one I said that had something in it. I think that's just nest lining that he brought. More than a blade to sew into it. Helps with the waterproofing. Go ahead. Janina! Hello, Janina. Reminding me we have a mission to accomplish right now. I could sit here forever watching a weaver bird. I know that when I go home on this weekend, I've got weaver birds outside my house that will be weaving their nests. But even in Johannesburg, in the cities, actually for some of the people who are very proud of their gardens, and you find some people actually get quite frustrated with them because they strip the palm leaves and they strip their garden plants to sew their nests together. Oh, there's been rhino here. What a rhino activity. But Janina wants to know, what's the dead animal next to the dead tree? Well, Janina, I haven't the faintest idea. and that's what we're going to investigate right now. We'll go down to Weaver's Nest, and then we're going to stop at the big orchid on Elephant Skull. I'm just going to say goodbye to the orchid, and then we are going to go down to Twin Dams Road. And by the time we make it to Twin Dams Road, we ought to be timing it perfectly to hit Gowrie Dam when the rest of the guests are leaving the lodge, so we can go in front of the camera, or rather in front of the lodge. Not so much the camera I have to be wary about. It's disturbing the guests at the lodge while they're having tea. They don't want to see a camera vehicle in their view. But they'll be going out shortly. I'm quite sure they might investigate. Interesting to note that there's a dead animal there. More interesting to note that there was an unknown leopard around the lodge last night. Tara was hearing some shouting this morning. So this might all add up to a leopard kill that occurred around the dam. And I'm really keen to find out who it is, because I have a sneaky suspicion someone has come to say goodbye. I hope. But I haven't seen that, Janina. I haven't been to Gowrie Dam for a couple of days now because of the rain yesterday, and didn't go there today, and I haven't been on the computer other than this morning to look at that. Unfortunately, I've been kind of busy trying to get my act together, trying to get all my stuff together, trying to get an idea of whether I can do it in one load or two, and how I'm going to do it all. That's something to come in the next few days after tomorrow. But for now, look, there's another pavetta in full. I'm just now wondering, I didn't even look at that flower properly. Was that the pavetta that I saw, or was that Pentanisia we were looking at? This is the pavetta. Is this the same flower we saw?
It looks the same actually.
Yeah, it is the same. And I'm going mad. But up until now, I've only seen one or two specimens flowering, and I think that this rain has now prompted all of this particular plant to come into bloom. There are a number of different pavettas actually. I just must try and figure out which one this is. Pavetta. Pavetta. I nearly didn't bring my books today. I thought, it's my last drive. We're not going to do book stuff. Gee, this doesn't even have it in it. Pachypodium, Pachystigma, Panicum, Papava, Passerina, Pavetta, there it is. Oops, sorry. 4, 6, thought I would have to have it. There's so many different pavettas. The Rubiaceae, Ruby. Ruby. Same family as the Pentanisia, by the way. Could be lanceolate. Is it? No, it can't be lanceolate. It doesn't have lanceolate leaves. It's got more of an obovate leaf. Could be gracilifolia. Oh, it's too hard right now, and it's going to take too much time. But it is the bride's bush. Let's go. The bride's bush for the anniversaries of this week that we were talking about earlier, 2 days ago. But I was looking for a pavetta for that specific purpose. Happy anniversary. Thanks, Sapiwe. Now, I'm taking a bit of a chance, but it is pretty sandy grassland, but I do want to get up to this orchid. Say goodbye. The Martinus is starting to come into flower. That is going to be heaven-scented in the evening. A little bit of a grey sky behind it. Full bloom. I couldn't ask for a better view of this orchid right now. It's in full bloom. This is Gloriosa superba. No, what am I saying? That's the flame lily. My brain is just stuck on the Gloriosa because I've been hoping to find one, and it's still too early in the season. Ancelia, not Gloriosa. Ancelia gigantea. Ancelia gigantea. That doesn't make a difference, does it? No. Can't get a photograph with my little camera from here, but I'm sure it's looking pretty good on your screens. An ancient orchid in a tree that probably died, based on the thickness of the branches that still exist and what is still standing. There's a good possibility that this tree died several hundred years ago. Knowing how long it takes for a leadwood tree to lose its smaller, finer branches and slowly it's actually barely decomposing. It's more weathering than decomposing. A tree that lived for hundreds of years and died probably a couple of hundred years ago. And that will still stand for a few more hundred years too. Very interesting. Look at this. Can you get that?
Just about.
I like it.
Oh, we should be able to get it.
So I want to turn it to the camera if I don't disturb it.
Yeah. Nice.
Can you see that mouth part?
Really nicely.
Okay, I was talking about bugs and beetles the other day. Now this is an assassin bug. And it has assassinated this wasp, but I've disturbed it. Here, have your wasp back. Probably sucked all the juices out of it already. No, that's not a wasp, it's a flying ant. Oh, I'm itchy. Something's got me. You're gonna fly for me. At the top of my finger. Then you can fly away. Bye bye. Off you go. Nah. Want this back? Huh. Finished with it? No. Okay. Hopefully you noticed that very distinct proboscis that still can't remember what it's really called. Do you remember the name of it? Here's a spike thorn flower now, the Martinus. Got a bunch of insects hanging around. And it's not really profuse as much as they can be. This particular species of Martinus, the ones down in the drainage lines, are a lot more to use the word again, profuse, covered in these blossoms, which are very sweet scented. Also attract many insects. I can see there's sand wasps. There are probably about 5 or 6 different species of wasps hanging around, and they're just getting a little bit of nutrition while they're busy doing the kind of stuff that wasps do, hunting for prey to secure in a burrow or something with an egg. I've got to get out again.
Yeah. Oh. Just got one of those wasps you're talking about.
What?
Had the dark one.
Sand wasp?
Yeah, I'd say so.
No. Turn the screen down a bit. Oh, one of the spider wasps.
Okay.
Oh, there, yes. Spider wasp, like I had on the ground the other day. But I found something else and I got a photograph of it. There must have been an ant nest here, and I'm not too sure which ants these are, because these are obviously the queens that have been released. Kings and queens, the winged reproductives of these ants. That assassin bug was eating one, and I've just found something really incredible eating another. I'm going to photograph it.
Are you able to turn the blade for us? Because we've just got the side.
I don't want to disturb it.
Yeah.
And drive forward just to another look at it. Interesting. So there must have been a nest of these ants that were releasing their reproductives, and well, some of them didn't quite make it, like the baby impala that just emerged, just get born and get eaten. They've been living as larvae underground, almost like an incubation in a womb. Pupated just recently with the rains, and now their first day flying they get caught by something. But that is why nature releases so many of them. That's probably why nature makes them so abundant. But I'm just going a little bit forward so you can get a really close up of that spider, because I have to be honest with you, I've been playing with spiders since before I could walk, and I've never seen that spider before. Such a large black and yellow abdomen. I hope at least one of these photos is clear. It's hard to tell. I can only really tell if these photos are in focus once I look at them later. And it looks like they're all way too blurred.
As long as the stream's good, this one should be quite a good one.
I've never seen that spider before. Such a large... Well, she must be gravid, so there's probably 1,000 eggs in there. There, if I zoom in on that one, I get a fairly clear picture. Maybe get at least one, just to document her. Maybe it's big abdomen, but I still, that spider with that coloration, never seen it in my life. So, wow, who would have thought? So much to see in such a small place. That's why, if you did a walk with me in the bush in summer, we could probably walk for 5 hours and cover no more than a few hundred meters. Henry, have you left the lodge? Where did you go? Yeah, copy. Yeah, I did Treehouse Dam looted there. Going to check Gary Dam. No, I didn't check in PC Kai, I checked Treehouse Dam, and I'm now on Elephant Skull going to Gary Dam. Lots of Nkombi and Konzo at Treehouse. Go ahead.
I've done it for a table here. Yeah, this morning I left Konzo for my father, my daughter, and my big one for Murula on the Sunset area of Black Lake. They found our west on the left side there, so they give us that time there. I like to go there and check on the area out there.
Okay, thanks Ed. Yeah, I'll come and give you a hand there after Gary. I want to just check on something at Gary Dam. Okay, copy. There was my daughter Ingwe here at the lodge last night. I just want to go and see if there's any sign of him. Okay, copy, thanks. Ah, boy. Yeah, a lot of people have asked, hang on a sec, a lot of people have asked me what I'm going to be doing when I leave here, and I think one of the answers I'm going to be doing after this kind of rain, and I know that I've had this kind of rain in the Timbavati, I'm going to be obsessed with the insects and flowers that are going to be coming out. Thought that was the first, or the one of the only specimens of a particular tree that I've been looking for here for since I came. Looks very similar, but it's not. I don't know what it is. Could be a senna. Doubt it though. Very stunted leaves. I thought it was a citrus bush, the small knobwood, but it isn't. Might be a close relative. I'm not too sure what it is. It's a little bit stunted and broken. Karen in San Antonio, Texas was asking a question before I even got to the orchid. Well, I think it is the Senna sanguiana, just a stunted version of it. Karen was asking, Sapiwe might have to help me. It was an interesting question, I know, and that's why I saved it. Ah, that's right. was. It was about the weaver's nest. Thanks, Sipiwe. Don't the females pick the nest apart if they're not satisfied with it? Yes, they do, to some degree. They reject it. Now, there are a couple of theories as to why the female rejects the nest, and one of them is that she's not satisfied with it because she has a greater instinctive... looks like a porcupine's been back on this termite mound. This is after all the rain, actually. Something's been digging there, and if you ask me, that looks like porcupine. The female weaver, her instinct for whether a nest is going to withstand storms and rain and the kind of things that she requires, basically the security of the nest is what is important to her, and I think she does have a greater idea of whether that nest is better for her young than the male, and that could be one of the reasons why she will reject the nest and maybe cut it free and let it drop. But there is also another reason, and the other reason is that hormonally they have to be in sync. If she's not ready for breeding, the nest will grow too old and dry by the time she is ready. So the other theory is that she will break the nest so that he builds another one so that it coincides with her breeding cycle, so that when she's ready to breed, she has a fresh nest to live in. And I kind of like that theory a little bit better, because after all, it is all about hormones and safety and security. But yes, she will pick apart that nest if she's not happy with it. And of course, sometimes we get a little bit anthropomorphic and we say, oh, she's not satisfied with the construction, and she'll break it. Meanwhile, it might be something as simple as she's just not ready to lay eggs yet, and she's just waiting for them. She's just hoping that in the interim he's going to get a little bit more experienced at building the nest and making it a little bit more sturdier, or putting it on a branch that's a little bit safer from predation. And there's also the one other thing about weavers and their nests, and that is that one can almost tell the season. Oh, there's a little dung beetle, tiny dung beetle with not even a dung ball, it's just one pellet from whatever it was. What is that? Kudu. Oh, and a big warthog up ahead. Having been scratching around in the dirt here. There are a couple of these little dung beetles rolling individual pellets rather than compacting them into a ball.
Got it up there and change direction and roll back down again.
There's that warthog now. Stopped running away and has come back into the one at the back just lost its ball, or its pellet, and it's obviously its brain is wired wrong because it ran uphill to look for it. Ah, it's found it again. So she had a hole dug already.
That's why he rolled back down again. He missed it. Because he got up to the top of the hill, rolled back down again, and then went into the hole.
That's the first time I've seen a dung beetle that has a pre-dug hole, and it's just taking pellets and rolling them to the hole. But there's fairly fresh dung there. There we go, here's another one. Thanks everybody, you flatter me. Saying I look good with my black hat. Actually I think it's chocolate brown. It needs my brush. It's already picked up a few fragments of things. Quite interesting. There are a bunch more of these beetles now. But I don't want to dally. I don't want to drive over any of them. Didn't quite get the names right on that first email, Sipiwe, of who that is sitting with Mom having tea at breakfast. Hang on a sec.
I don't know if you guys so 40 pounds to Lolo, that area.
It's off of our Mary Ellen sitting with her mom around the breakfast table. These pans have filled up. That means that cello pan would have water in it. You know, this is sad. For me, this is probably one of the sad things. You know, we're just going into summer. We're just coming into this. And now it's like the pans are filling up. The tree frogs are going to be building their nests. Look at this. When I first started here, this couldn't even fit a warthog, and it can now fit an elephant. This particular little this mud wallow. Speaking of warthogs, he was here now, and he just ran off somewhere here. Have a look at what it must have been giraffe dung. I thought it was kudu because it was quite close together. I didn't even get out to get a closer look, but it must have been giraffe that they're collecting, all those dung beetles. And there are the giraffe. Hello, Kimmy. That could have been our anniversary flower. Indeed. Is your birthday today? It is, really. No water in Chelapan yet. Look, we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 giraffe, bunch of zebra and impala. That's a nice shot with the zebra and the giraffe. Wow. Talk about putting objects in my path on my way to Gowrie Dam. Distractions. Why have I still got shoes on? You see, that's how distracted I am. I've still got shoes on? Really? Can't understand why. And a bigger dung beetle coming out onto the road soon with its mate on the ball. Where do we look first? Looks like everything's coming out of the woodwork because it's been raining and everything's hungry and everything just wants to get as much in before what looks like blue sky coming. Maybe the rain is over. But lovely blue sky to the east and the southeast. Just a little bit of dark in the west, but that'll go away. The sky might even be clear by sunset. Bodes well for a good day tomorrow. Again. Hello, Marsha. Have I seen any rare specimens of orchids at Djuma? Not really, Marsha. I've only really seen these 2 orchids. I've had other flowers that I thought were orchids, but they're not. I don't have the right... Oh, they're not. But no, I found some wonderful orchids when I was down in the Cape, on the little nature reserve I was running. But here, sadly not. And Marsha's birthday as well. Okay. Marsha and Kimmy. That is one big female giraffe, that one big... She's walking behind bushes now, behind that big buffalo thorn. But
Yeah, that was the one.
that one,
Yeah.
she's huge. For a lady, she's huge. She's like a female basketball player in the giraffe world. Am I allowed to say Amazon? And I would say that she's, look at that, she moved that way and all these youngsters are following her, except one. Looks like two big females amongst this group, mostly children. There's this girl in the road is also not such a small one either. Sure, that's interesting, Joe Square. The big five in the spider world. Oh, I would have to think of that. Well, the golden orb. I don't know if there has been officially a big five in the spider world named, but if I had to name the big five of my spider world, I would say the golden orb at the top of the list, the garden orb, the baboon spider, which there are several species, but let's just say the baboon spider, that's three, the bark spider, now you've put me in the spot here now, Jojo. Can I rewind? The garden orb maybe isn't that special. You got an itch, girl? Let's move on. Okay, let's scratch the garden orb. We're not looking at size here, we're looking at wonder. The most wondrous, most incredible spiders that I can think of. Well, the golden orb would still be at the top of the list. And I would have to include the baboon spider for its sheer size and beauty. But then I would go to one of the smallest spiders and I would say the spitting spider is one of them. She spits and sprays this strand, this weave of silk to glue her prey to the ground or the substrate. Look at this beautiful light. Look, we got sunshine on a cloudy day. How does that song go? I got sunshine on a cloudy day. Hello, zebbies. Oh, no fighting, children. You're going to disturb the giraffe. Look at this beautiful light. I think there's a message here somewhere. That in all this darkness, there's always a little bit of sunshine. There's a little boy giraffe here on our right. A couple of years old. With his mom. Oh, that's very tender. Look at that. Little girl and her mother. That's the big old lady I was talking about earlier. Grandma giraffe. She's like the BB. Well, she's still got a tail. She's like the safari in the... Oh, who's that up there? That's the juvenile gymnogene that's just flown into that tree up there, the one we see quite often. Harrier hawk. Got a couple of drongos hassling it. And off it goes to raid another nest. Did you get it?
Yeah.
Hello children. Okay, what's up with the roadblock? You don't want me to get to Gowrie Dam, do you? Are you hiding something? 5 giraffe there were in the road. It doesn't look like they're going to be leaving the road very soon. Moving through the drainage line. Try and let's get up there to see them. It'll be quite interesting. Kite spider. Thanks, Tara. It is one of my favorites too. But not the one that we had in camp.
No.
The one that's got the buffalo horns. That one that's got those beautiful big red horns that curve around. And you know, I'm so sad because one of the sequence of photos that I missed was, you know, there was a kite spider. I don't know if any of you know, you can Google it. But there's a spider called a kite spider and they're really incredible. And the one and only kite spider that I ever saw around camp lived on a web just outside Tara's room. And then one day I was at the fuel store filling up the vehicle and I found a bark spider eating it. So what are we doing, girls? It'll be faster if I get to Gowrie Dam via Cheetah Cut line. Sorry, go ahead, Superior. Iman. Kind of special visiting with so many giraffes. We've got this lot down here on the road. We've got 2, 3, no, at least another 5 in the bushes to our right. And they're feeding on tambuti, some of them. Quite a thick tambuti forest. Girls, I really would like to get to Gowrie Dam sometime today. This is the little dip just west of just north of Chelapan, not west. This morning chatting to people, somebody reminded me of an elephant incident that was quite funny. We were coming through here, I'll show you shortly. I think this must be giraffe school because there are these 3 youngsters following this old girl and she stops and they just watch her. It's like they... Yes ma'am, no ma'am, I know. following her. Memories. There's one thing that doesn't matter how long it takes me to get back here. There's places that are going to bring back memories. This place just set a new memory here with these giraffe. But some time ago, we had just started 3D, and just behind this line of bush where these giraffe were, we came across the Majingalians eating, I think it was one of the Styx lionesses, the Majingalian male lions eating that lioness. It was sad. Seb and Patrick, me and Alex, they were in the jigger. I think Alex and I were in the gunda, or the other way around. Can't remember the specifics. Maybe that's what we'll do. We'll take a drive around down memory lane this morning. By giraffes. Try and remember some of the amazing things. You know, you asked me when I was sitting in front of the computer, and it's kind of hard then to think of moments that I've had in the last 2 3/4 years, however long. Let's call it 3 years, because it's almost that. But there was another drive I was on, and I was exactly here, and we came around this corner. I think was it this corner? No, it was the corner behind me, with that slope, and 2 elephants were sparring, and that one bull looked at us, and he sort of turned towards us and sort of did a little bit of a rush towards me, and his feet slammed, he skidded in the mud towards us. Somebody brought that up this morning. And the buffalo. Hello, buffalo. Sadly, it doesn't look like we're going to see the judge again. I wonder, with the likes of the Matimbas cruising Biffleshoek for the last few months, I doubt whether somebody like the judge would still be alive. But this old boy, with the very thin face and the very narrow horns, he actually used to hang out with the judge and Seesaw. He's an old man, and I'm surprised he's actually still chewing the cud. Yeah, I'm talking about you. He's got kind of a weird look about him, this old man. I think somebody brought it up the other day. Is it clockwise that they chew or anti-clockwise? I suppose I could say maybe it's counterclockwise in the southern hemisphere and clockwise in the northern hemisphere. I suppose it depends on which side of the buffalo you're standing. Hello, oxpecker. Probably one of the oldest bulls with the narrowest horns I've ever seen, compared to, say, this other guy who we'll see shortly when I go forward. He's wearing a stick on his back. Hello, Kingfisher. I'm fine, thanks. Hello, Sandy in Virginia. Talk about raggedy ears. He's got maybe the raggediest ears I've seen in a long time. Let me go forward a little bit, if he'll let me, and we can try and get an idea of differences between buffaloes if we get that other one in the background. You don't mind if I sneak forward, do you, old man? I'm just gonna sneak forward quietly. Just until we get the other boy in line with you. Is that good? Relax, dude. Sandra was asking, why do dung beetles bury the dung ball? Isn't it their food? Well, it is, but it's more important as food when they're larvae. And this is one example of maternal care, in a way. In that what they're doing is that they're burying dung so that they can lay an egg down there, and then when the larva hatches, the larva has some food. Because that is what the larva feeds on, the dung beetle larva. Beetles, almost all beetles. There are few that are a little bit different, few that are eccentric. As it is with any creature, there are a couple of individuals that are a little eccentric, present company included. And most beetles go through what we call a complete metamorphosis. They go from egg stage to larva, and then they'll go into the pupal stage, which is that dormant stage where something science fiction happens, where there's a complete cell breakdown in the creature. Everything turns into mush, and then suddenly the cells all start reconstructing themselves, and this creature turns into something else. You know, Steven Spielberg couldn't come up with anything better than that. A couple of nice woodpeckers up ahead having a bit of a... Let's go there. Buffalo are exciting because they're dangerous and they're big and they're very close to us, but they tend to mostly only chew the cud a lot of the time. Sorry, old man. Sorry, dude. Not too happy about having the vehicle start up in front of him like that. Sadly, these woodpeckers are not as active as they were a minute ago. But they were in a little dead tree and the two of them were interacting. I wanted to see which woodpeckers they were. But for all of those creatures that have what we call a complete metamorphosis, in other words, they go through egg to larva, larva to pupa, pupa to adult, like the butterflies and the moths, and there goes that woodpecker, and the beetles and flies to some degree, some of them, and other insects, wasps, ants, bees. It's quite incredible because nature's kind of divided up their life period, their life cycle into different categories. In the larval stage, they get their digestive system. That's the time when all they must do is eat. And if they were given a reproductive system, it would be too distracting for them to complete the function of eating to become the adult beetle or insect that they need to be. So they don't have a reproductive system when they're in a larval stage. Those cells that become active, that produce a reproductive system, are only triggered once they go through the pupation process. So when they're a larva, all they have is a digestive system. And you'll find that a lot of those insects that have a large digestive system as a larva, when they become an adult, it is so much reduced to make space for a much more improved reproductive system. So it's kind of like, okay, so you're a young creature, you don't really need to mate, so you only have a stomach to feed, and then we'll worry about it later. And then later, when it comes out as an adult, it's like, okay, you spent the first part of your life eating, you don't need to eat anymore as an adult because, well, you can't grow anyway because you're an adult. So I'll just give you a reproductive system and that's all you must do. And as a result of that, there are so many insects out here that don't really have much of a reproductive, or rather a digestive system as young. Something's here, I think. John, am I disturbing? With what? Bunch of giraffe and zebra and buffalo just down the road. No, not yet. But I'm going to look for one. I'll find you one now. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Mine too. Mm. I don't know why I'm shouting from over there when I can park here and talk to you. Pardon? No, tomorrow. Well, Tara's driving tomorrow, but tomorrow will be our last day. It is rather. Well, the weather, yeah. But now with this weather, it's all clearing up. Everything's coming out of the woodwork. How long have we been out? An hour and something already, and I've hardly gone anywhere. But I've had assassin bugs eating things and spiders eating things, and I'm looking at the orchid, and yeah, just all sorts of little things. But yeah, great group of giraffe down there near. There are two nice ones. There's the one on Elephant Skull near Treehouse Dam. That's the one subspecies. And then on Rebecca's Road, just after, if you're going up towards Zoe's Road, just after you go through the dip, right next to the road there's a knobthorn, and there's the other subspecies, the Nilotica, in the tree, the one that's got the spots on, the leopard one, leopard orchid. Yeah, they're both in full bloom. Yeah. You know where that is? Yeah. Yeah, that lovely big one. I've counted, maybe I've found a few when I've been off-road. There's another big one just off of Mvubu Road, and that one on Elephant Skull, when you're in the drainage line and off-road with leopard and stuff, there are a few small ones and obviously offspring of that big one. But other than that, the two main ones is that one there and the one on Rebecca's. And if you're coming from Philemon's cut line, after you go through the dip, there's that one dead tree right next to the road that's been falling, losing debris on the road, and that's on the left. And just after that on the right there's another knobthorn right on the right hand side of the road, and it's maybe about 12 feet up, very close. Beautiful tree, beautiful flower. No, well no, that's up in Buffels. Unfortunately there haven't been any guests at the lodge. There's only been like one vehicle going out, but with two of them out this afternoon they might get a bit lucky, especially after this rain. If lions are going to walk around, they're going to leave tracks that nothing's going to wipe out it very easily. Texan and Henry. Yeah. Andrew is Cheetah Plains.
Okay.
Can be confusing. That's not Henry, it's Hendry. But everybody calls him Henry.
When you go back to the Timbabati,
Yeah.
where do you go when you go there?
Home.
Is that your home?
Yeah.
From Timbabati?
Yeah. Well, I suppose like you have Milkberry.
Yeah.
We got a share. My parents in the 60s bought a share in a property up there, way up near Motswari. Yeah. Well, there's that big share block system next door called Ingwalala, and Ingwalala is our eastern boundary.
And you live there?
Yeah. Well, it's home. It's base. It's When I'm not here, I'm there.
Yeah, it's very sad. We enjoyed. We went on for the period,
Very nice watching.
It is, it's heartbreaking.
Well, thanks. We didn't really know we had
No,
much
no, I don't
of a viewership
I'm
in
actually
South
from
Africa
the
because of the
UK,
bandwidth problem
but
and
I'm
being
going
able
back
to
here soon.
to follow.
It does, it goes.
Yeah.
I've got to pick up
Yeah.
my stuff after Christmas. I'm going back home for Christmas to my parents, and then I come
Yeah.
back here just to see if I can do something.
Yeah.
So I'm not too sure what.
Yeah, that was because the previous ownership of the company ended off in August, and then Yuri and Pippa decided to take us on for 3 months for a trial period, and if we got enough viewers and enough
In the bush.
revenue from these 3 months, we might have stayed
Year and a
running.
half
But it's
just
it's not
over
really
here, and in the Waterberg
not really
about 3.5,
paying. I know
and
it's
then Taba's in
been
Brisbane.
costing more than it's
All
bringing
over.
in.
Yeah.
But I'd like to maybe try and, I don't know, yeah, it's got a great educational value. We've been connecting with school classrooms in other parts of the world, so we live with the classroom and getting questions from kids and interacting with the kids,
I was born in the wrong
and that kind of thing has probably got greater value than trying to entertain.
No,
You know what it's like, you can drive around for 2 hours and not see anything, and if you get new viewers that want to see what it's like, they'll watch that for 2 minutes and think, oh, nothing's happening, and then they'll go somewhere else.
It's driving around this afternoon, you think,
Anyways,
see that
my
again?
viewers are waiting for me to get to the dam to find something,
Must have wonderful memories.
but I will try my best for Ingrid. Okay.
Cheers.
Thanks.
We need you for
Thanks.
Oh, thank
You should have organised that before
you. Yeah,
tonight.
that's Thank
Okay.
you. But good
Go
luck.
keep your viewers happy.
You know,
I
we
shall.
stuff for sundown. You must want to
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay, ciao, ciao.
Call you later. Sorry about that, everybody. No, I'm not really sorry about that. I would love to be able to say goodbye to a lot of the other landowners that are probably not here right now. I mean, Bernie has been great over the years from the other side of our eastern boundary. Sydney Frankel from Buffelshoek has been fantastic as well over the years. For those of us that have been here a while, some of our really older viewers, I don't mean in age, I mean in time, some of the viewers that have come from a long time ago who were around when the sad event of Wonky's death rocked the viewership, and Sydney gave us permission to go up to Buffelshoek to see Wonky's last resting place. There were one or two times we were allowed to go up there for one or two other things. I remember seeing mating lion up on Buffelshoek as well. So finally we have made it to Buffelshoek Dam. Only an hour and a half almost later. Now, where? Gowrie. Okay, I say Buffelshoek, but Gowrie Dam. So now, where's this dead thing at Gowrie Dam that you've been talking about? There's a hippo.
Do we get a prize if we spot it?
Yeah, you win a Datsun.
A what?
A Datsun.
A Datsun.
But sadly they don't make Datsuns anymore, so I don't know how. There's still a bit of algae here. Okay, zoomies, tell me. I'm on the damn wall. You're saying near the dead tree there's something dead. Is it in the water? Is it in the tree?
Is it definitely this dead tree and not the other dead tree?
Ah, good call. Is it this dead tree or the other dead tree? Let me have a snoop.
I'm trying to take off your hat. I'm trying to take off your hat.
Okay, so here my earpiece is back in. If you've got anything from anybody about where this dead animal is. Okay. Did you see anything? Did you go on to Sapiwa? Did you go on to waterhole cam? Maybe. Didn't see anything. Hello, Patty. Patty's asking, how long does it take for a giraffe to reach its full size? Interesting question. You know, giraffe, funny enough, have probably got one of the fastest growth rates of any animal from a youngster, but it kind of slows down, so they slowly really reach full size maybe when they're about 4 or 5 years old, maybe a bit older. Let's just go past the camera a little bit. Maybe someone will get back to me about where Roy, Mr. Groover, what are you talking about and where are you talking about? Something within view of the camera and a dead tree was something that looked like a dead impala. Oh look, egrets. Egrets. The egrets are not here that often, but they are today. See them a lot outside the reserve with all the cattle. And the reason for that is because they're cattle egrets.
You said that had them at Twin Dams the other day.
I know I was there. I think it was Seb, but I think I might have been on camera. I can't remember if it was me driving or Seb driving. Goes to show how great my memory is. Hello, Mary in Texas. Starling's taking food into its hole. Don't know if you saw that. Were you on it?
We've just got it as it got there.
It's still going to come out of its hole. I can remember when a woodlands kingfisher was living in there. I think there was actually a camera. The camera used to be up in that tree at the time. There's the other starling going in. You can't both fit in the hole, surely. Virtual starling. Hardy-dar now, close to the egrets. Probing the ground. Hardy-dar's rejoicing after this rain, making the ground so soft so they can get that long thin beak into the ground for crickets and all sorts of things. There they go, mum and dad starling. Okay. And I'm going to go up towards the lodge and then come back down again and hopefully get some idea of
So it's got to be some
Yeah.
But you can do really well on those trees at the back.
Well, it could be one of those dead trees. Could be also one of these fallen trees. I just understood it to be that dead leadwood that the guinea fowls sleep in. A lot of impala around the lodge, yeah. Maybe seeking sanctity because there might be a predator around. I thought I actually heard an impala snorting earlier, but I can't be sure whether it was a ram making a noise or an alarm call.
No, it's definitely an alarm for those monkeys calling as well.
Oh, okay, so it was an alarm call. There's something around here somewhere. Okay, again. The geese are quiet. A lot of algae, probably because of the rain, or rather the wind and the rain that's come from the south. That's driven. That's why I thought the algal bloom had lifted or sunk or something. But the wind and the rain's driven it all the way up into this little backwater. Hello, Arlette. Arlette in Belgium asked a question. Might have got lost in cyberspace last week. Okay.
Yeah.
Just asking about bush pigs. How come we never see them, not even in the evenings? I think mostly, Arlette, that's because they're rather rare in this part of the world. I noticed that they are on the checklist. So at some point in Juma's history, bush pig has been seen here before. But I would say that the reason why we haven't seen them is because there probably is not a family of bush pigs living here at this time. I would say that maybe in the past there might have been bush pig that came through, maybe lived here for a while. But currently there are obviously no bush pig within the area that is surrounding Gowrie Dam, and that is because they haven't been picked up on camera at all in all the time that I've been here. And they are nocturnal pigs. They are common in some areas, but it tends to be mostly around permanent rivers and a lot denser vegetation. So I'm really curious now what it is that everybody was seeing. Saying a dead animal. The thing is that it's more than one person, so it sounds like there must have been something here. Maybe in the interim it's been removed. I don't know. I need to wait until I get an answer from somebody where about it was. I can't see anything. Where have I seen bush pig? I've seen bush pig in Tanzania and in Kenya, mostly. That's the Roman hippo. That one that has the sort of rounded nose, convex nose. Abel, come in. Abel, are you able to talk to me? Okay, on we go. Ah. Further down the road, on the dam wall on the left side. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop here, Roy, and wait for an email. Where in relation to me? And while I'm here, I'm going to have a snoop as well. Okay, I'm back in the car. I've walked it. I can't see anything, Roy. Sticks and sticks. Sticks and sticks. Problem is that there's a little bit of a delay in... Okay, go Superior. Jean, hello Jean. Thanks for the email, Jean. Jean saying that she's enjoyed the drives with Tara, Seb and myself. And I think there's going to be a mutual missing. I think it's kind of mutual how much we're all going to miss each other. You know, it's been a very special ride. It's been a very special experience. Terrapins. To be able to have such a huge extended family that has become family. It's become a community and a family. Okay. Okay, I'm getting some answers, but I'm still, you know, the problem, although we're live, it somehow isn't quite, the timing is not quite right, because you're saying now, somebody's saying that I passed it, the dead tree on the left, bush on the right, and also a picture that was posted, Sipiwe can't make anything, and I have to tell you, Sipiwe, if there's something Sipiwe would be able to find a needle in a haystack, because Sipiwe operated the camera for so long and she could find anything. So, I can only have a look at the picture when I get back to camp, unfortunately. Hello, terrapins. So maybe it's something on the, let's have a look. Just one more look. Maybe at the green stuff on this side of the dam wall. But I'm spending too much time here now. And I've been walking around. If there's been anything here like a leopard, I would have heard a growl. I would have heard something. So there's none of these trees are anything close to something that a leopard could get a kill into. Maybe it's here. Maybe it's this rock at the base of this tree that's beige, that looks like it's the color of an impala. But I can't see how you'll see it. Oh, maybe the angle. But there's some jasmine flowers. Sorry folks, I'm looking, I can't find anything that looks anything remotely like an impala. Dead trees, green bushes. Okay. Okay, so maybe it's this thing. I'm getting out again. Okay, I don't see it, sorry. That was a piece of hessian that was still caught in the tree. Actually, I wish I could have shown you, because there was a hatchling dwarf gecko. Now, and the hippo's displaying. Hippo doesn't like me doing what I just did. I still want to go east. People were saying lots of emails about that thing. Maybe it was that piece of hessian that was just in a different light, looked like something. Hessian was laid down on that damn wall to help with controlling of erosion, and there's still a few pieces that haven't degraded yet. I mean, it's not going to last the summer. By the end of summer there's not going to be any of it left. Let me know if that's where it was, where I last got out the vehicle, if that's more or less where it was. But I'm pretty confident that there's nothing on that damn wall at the moment. There are no tracks, there's no sign of anything. But there was a hatchling dwarf gecko. Now dwarf geckos, like a dactylus, are tiny geckos. They're not called dwarf geckos for anything. They're about just 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches at the most when they're adults. But when they hatch, when they come out of the egg, they're probably less than 1/4 inch long. They're tiny. They're the smallest little things you could ever imagine. Cutest little geckos. And there was one on that piece of hessian. So Peter, yeah, we finished at 7. Up to buffels of cutline. Okay. Hello, Rosie. Rosie's asking if Mishu is around. No, Rosie, I'm afraid I might have spoken out of turn there and maybe started a rumor, as things go, you know, taken out of context perhaps. I was just saying that last night on Tara's drive, just before it started raining, we were up on Triple M with Induna, and there was another leopard with Induna who at first we thought was Jordan, but it's not him, or it wasn't him. But there was another male leopard there, and that male leopard then later on, not much later on I might add, was seen just outside the lodge. The same leopard, and the reason why they know it was the same leopard, because he had a couple of injuries, superficial wounds. I mean, nothing to be worried about. Kind of things that leopard get when they get into a fight or something, the same as your tabby cat at home. But I was just saying, maybe, just because I was hoping against all hope, that just maybe it might have been Indishu. No, let me try that again. Induna. No, Mishu that had come along, and Induna was there, and that's why the two of them were amicable. Gosh, tongue-tied this afternoon. Hello, old man buffalo. Hello. Goodbye. Mind the lion. Might not see you again. But I was just thinking, you know, this leopard came from what's almost one-eyed pan on Triple M, way up there beyond Sandy Patch. Made a beeline for the lodge. And he was a leopard that was unknown to Tristan from Chitwa Chitwa, and I was just saying that maybe, against all hope, that maybe it was Mishu that had come snooping around again. But that wasn't confirmed, and there is no leopard around at the well, there is, I think, because we've heard some things shouting, and that's why we're going up to Biffles or Cutline, and we'll come back this way in a bit. Hello, Waterbuck. Nice to see you out here, not around the lodge. Hello, girls. And Mr. Look at him, he's such an amazing animal. Gosh, he's in his prime. But Rosie, maybe Mishu is around. There's no confirmation, there's no real or even superficial evidence, let alone substantial evidence. There's no, not even circumstantial, there's no clue that he is anywhere near here at the moment. That was just me thinking aloud, saying his name and hoping against the odds that it might be him coming to say goodbye. Of course he doesn't know we're leaving, and although I have put it out there, using my animal communication skills minus the beads that Stacy sent me, but learning the skills that I have in the past, I have put it out there in my energy field that if there are any of our regular children out here that I want to say goodbye, to just come past camp and do so. Can't guarantee they'll get the message. It's not like email that's guaranteed to be delivered. They have to be tuned into the same energy frequency to be able to pick up that kind of message. It's not like email that's guaranteed to be delivered. They have to be tuned into the same energy frequency to be able to pick up that kind of message. And normally it's us humans that have to tune into their frequency. It's not like they're searching for messages from humans. Somehow it's just us humans that are constantly searching for messages from the animal world. Another big buffalo behind these waterbuck. Deeper in, only a few yards. You can't see him because he's behind bushes. Okay, let's go. Sun's going behind cloud. So much for blue skies by sunset. It's not going to happen. Still more weather moving in. Please don't rain on my new hat. The boss. The hat's called the boss. And Joanne, first chance I get to go to a city, I'll hire and I'll walk around the busiest part of town with a tux and my hat and barefoot. I shall go to a place like Melrose Junction. What's it called? Some fancy new place in Johannesburg where it's got a lot of fancy restaurants where you pay 100 Rand for a starter, and it's this huge courtyard with all these restaurants, and Mandela Square in Sandton. I'll go there in a tux, barefoot with my hand, take the photos standing in Mandela's fountain. Pardon? It is a nice colour, and it's going to be my evening. This is the vertical area. I'll try and get back into a better area now. Abel, come in. No Abel. Texan, you copy? Right. Any update then?
Give a lot of Gary at the Brussels for cut down. Delegate for cut down. I think one of the parties and one of the older ones for fun. There was me and Cole and Marc, and that was it.
Okay, thanks a lot. Also some Inyari on the cut line, south, levels of cut line. Good boy. Elephants! La na 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 na. Iced tea. Or maybe lukewarm tea rather. Still quite dark in the south actually, and it's nice and well, it's lightening up a little bit in the northeast and the east, but there's still some weather moving in from Nelspruit. Might follow the mountains. When it's that far to the west, it's likely to follow the mountains rather than come this way, but it's still, there is still weather. We might even still get a sprinkling tonight. So we're approaching Buffelshoek Dam now. Oh, and plated lizard just ran into its burrow. Chicken. Cindy, that plated lizard's got a garden full of Sansevieria on that termite mound. Bilo Jordan, do you think you'll make an appearance for me today here at Buffels of Dam or something? Wouldn't that be something? No change in the water level here. Hippos and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 geese. Can't even call them goslings anymore. They're little geese now. Look at that, look how big they are already. They're like teenagers. Don't know if that's mom or dad that's with them, but one of the adults with the 7 youngsters. I think they've done very well to raise all 7 like this. I can remember, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, when it was, or could have even been the summer before then. There were like 14 goslings, and there was one day that about 8 of them disappeared in one night. Or was it 13? I can't remember. Those finer details escape me right now. Where are we going to go from here? I think I'm going to take Quarry Pan Road. I haven't driven that road for months, because I normally take that Hippo Walk Up Road, that Hippo Pools Road to Quarry Pan. So I think let's do that. Let's go up to Quarry Pan and onto Cheetah Cutline. I did want to at least touch on Cheetah Cutline this evening. Okay. Was the hippo going to display for us now? Might be. Yes, yes, come on. Bring it on. Do the whale thing, or the dolphin thing, or the porpoise thing. No, not just a normal hippo thing.
We got Schlambi.
Nice. Look at this. We got. Somebody asked us the other day where the baby buffalo and the female buffalo, and we have, our timing is perfect. Look at this. I don't know whether it's 10, 20, 50 or 500. I'm going to herd a buffalo coming in. We're going to just wait. We're going to sit here and wait. Schlambi and Yari coming down to Buffels of Dam if anyone's interested. It looks like a small group. We did have a while ago, we did have a very small group. I think there were about 14 or 15 of them. At this stage I'm only seeing maybe about 20 individuals. I'm just waiting for them to come out of the tree line to the water. I'll let you know in a minute. Doesn't look like a very big herd. They're pausing out there, one of the bulls coming out now. Just getting a whiff of the air, making sure that it's safe, no doubt. Why is everybody interested in a big Schlambi? I suppose because they're looking for the matimbas, that's why. Because the matimbas ought to be following a big Schlambi herd. Well, there's a bull, there's a bull. There's a bull, there's a bull. couple of calves. So it's got to be a mixed herd. There's a cow. Young bull, young bull, young bull. Cow, calf. Young bull, cow, calf. So far I can see about 35 of them, and they're nervous. Back into the tree line, not going too far. I wonder if this is Bob or Storm, or who this little hippo is sitting on Mom's back down here. One of our little hippos that
thanks very much for the call and thanks for the direction. Yeah, I did. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Apiwe. Just to conclude our mission at Gari Dam, it seems that maybe it was that piece of Hessian that you were seeing, and maybe the light and the way it's just been after the rain that might have made it. No, please don't apologize. Could very well have been a carcass, could well have been something there, and so no false alarm, no bad. Nice to have gone on a little bit of a hunt to find something. That was a couple of Duggar boys on Gari Katlan, this small Shambi of Vinyari that have come down to Biffleshoek Dams, maybe 35, 40 individuals. If anyone heard that. Who were you on, the buff?
Keep moving between the two.
Buff and the hippo. They're nervous, being a small herd. Quite a young hippo actually. Hello Heather. Whoops. Oh! What up, Grey Lurie? Oh! landed in a tree, raised its crest, and said, "Oh, I think there's something around here. Look at these buff. You see what they're doing? Noses in the air. They're not even. I mean, they're not concerned about us. There's something off of Buffelshoek Dam that's tensing them up a little bit. Something around here. We're gonna go to the other side of there. Ooh, we're gonna get caught. This weather's moving in fast. It was so far to the south earlier, and now it looks like it's over Gowrie Main already. There's something. Look at how these buffalo are behaving. And I think I know that hippo, because there's not many hippo that ride on their mom's back like little Bob did. But maybe he's a bit too small to be Bob. Don't know. She's being a bit submissive to that big hippo bull. But that's interesting. Something spooked the buff on the other side of the dam. Let's go around there and have a look. But hello, Heather. Is it 3 months already? Can't believe it. Wow. Wearing my new hat for Heather's anniversary. 3-month anniversary of her new kidney.
Is it 3 months already?
Yeah. Well, good news is that my kidney's still okay. Georgina's doing fine. So, yes, the new hat for Sydney. And Georgina's okay. She's still functioning. Had a bit of a scare. Went for blood tests, but it's not too bad. Creatinine's still low enough. Blood pressure's fine. I just need to eat more bananas. My potassium is low. Not that fond of bananas. I've got some special taste. Wow. Thanks, Kathy and Steve. 1,100 viewers this afternoon on a weekday. I tip my hats to everybody. No, something's up with these buffalo. Something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 29, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 36. A very small herd. Cows and calves and mostly bulls. But they're quite nervous. Now, not all buffalo herds that we get that, or rather that we have coming through Djuma Game Reserve, are as relaxed as some of the big herds that we see. And obviously sometimes when you see 3, 4, even 500 buffalo in a group, the sheer number of them makes them relaxed. And it could be that these are part of a bigger group that we've seen in the past, and they've been split up, or they've been separated in some way, maybe because of the presence of the likes of the Matimba lions, that big coalition that love to eat buffalo. Or maybe it just is a small herd, and maybe they haven't been around here very much, and they're not that accustomed to vehicles, which might make them nervous with me around. It's not like they're running away from the vehicle. They're running, or there's a little bit of a breeze coming in from the north. They're picking up the scent of something. I was going to go onto Guaripan Road, but I'm now going to take Jack's Road up onto the cut line, and maybe even come down this little peninsula at Buffelshoek Dam. We'll go and have a look for tracks up there. But no, see, look at this. They're right next to me. These buffalo are they're not wary, and they're not nervous because of the vehicle. They're nervous because of something else. They hardly drank. Hello, everybody. Look at the size of that bull at the back there. Or maybe I need to go forward. Sure, he's big. When he becomes a dogger boy, he's going to be something else. Well, it sounds like we have quite a few viewers this evening. So welcome to Juma and Wild Earth and our live safari. And as much as I want to welcome you, I have to say, unfortunately, this is my last evening behind the wheel. Although Tara and I have been talking about it, maybe tomorrow evening we'll swap over a little bit just to mix it up a bit and just to say our last words. I go buffalo. Let's go up this way and have a look. This afternoon proves that you can't have a plan. Even though we've got 3 hours to drive in, and even though we've only got a relatively small area to cover, and there are times when we don't see anything, that you can cover almost every road and you wonder where to go to next because the animals are all hiding. I had grandiose plans this afternoon to cover as much of the area as I could, up to Cheetah Cut Line, to go and see twin dams. I wanted to see a few specific things, but when you see things and you get interested in, or rather when you see interesting things and you get sidetracked, what to do. That's the way the bush works. We don't have to cover every road, we don't have to drive miles. Of course, with this cloud that has suddenly descended upon us, there is no sunset this evening. And I was so hoping to give you a memorable sunset. Tomorrow. And I don't know any other words. Lovely message coming in from Arkansas. Butterfly Beverly and Jay and Beverly, but I call Beverly Butterfly Beverly. Actually, there's another butterfly who's in my life. Her name's Elizabeth. Ellie for short. Butterfly Ellie. I don't know if Ellie's watching. Ellie's at work probably, editing scientific papers at the university in Johannesburg. But Butterfly Beverly and Jay, thank you very much for your email and your kind words. Write a book. Well, I don't know, maybe that's something I ought to do, even if it's only distributed amongst all the viewers. I don't know about a book, but I can write something. A memoir. But memoirs are only written by old men, aren't they? When I grow up, I want to be an old man and wise. But it's not that I want to set out to write a book. It's something that just happens. It's something when I'm at home, and it's always happened. It's happened since I was a kid, even in my since early high school. I can remember a science, I think it was a science class. It was like a double period of science, which means that it was like over an hour's worth of a science class. As much as I loved biology, I was a little bit intimidated by science because I had to learn formula. I had to learn things out of a book. I believe I might have had the aptitude for it. I believe I might have even had the intellect for it. But anything that meant I had to sit down with a book and actually memorize it, and actually, that's not studying, it's memorizing. It's like even now, if I wanted to do a post-production couple of lines to the camera off air and it wasn't live, I can't learn even 2 sentences. And these teachers insisted that I had, at school you have to learn dates and all sorts of things in history lessons. And science, you had to learn all sorts of, learn stuff. Parrot fashion. Didn't matter if you didn't know what it meant. If you could just rewrite, just copy it all down on paper in the exams, you would have got your marks. Anyways, digressing as I always do. And losing my place and forgetting what I was trying to say. But anyways, I can remember one day in a science class, for some reason I was thrown out of the class. I never used to talk in class. I wasn't really naughty. I was an introvert, for crying out loud. As a kid, I was a loner. But somehow I was always thrown out of class, whether it was accountancy or science or something. Mark, stand outside, get up. And there I was standing outside this classroom for the better part of an hour because I'd done something wrong. I can't remember. I don't even think at the time I knew what it was that I'd done wrong. And it struck me, it was like this wave of thought that came over me, that as soon as I got back inside and I sat down with a pen and paper, I wrote about that incident. I don't know if I still have that piece of paper anywhere. It might be with some of my writings down in the Cape in storage. But I do that, especially when I'm at home and I'm alone, and it's going to be more so now because I have a free mind to let it flow. But I've also got this, by the way, this is all the result of new moon, and I've got a waxing moon coming up over the next 2 weeks or so. And it's the time of the month perhaps that I have the greatest inspiration, is coming into full moon, when I'm at home alone and I either get into my landy and I go for an afternoon drive and I sit with an elephant, or I go for a walk and I see a particular insect on a flower. Sometimes it's just the smallest things that can inspire me, and I'm driven to go and sit down and just write about it, or write what is in my head at the time. So I'm not saying that I'm going to write a book, but I am saying that the next month or two has given me, or it is going to be a time when I'm hoping I can be inspired to sit down and write something, and maybe from that, using a lot of stuff that I've written in the past, maybe I can do something. I don't know. I hope so. But thanks, Jay and Beverly. Hello, Liz. How are you, Liz? Liz, one of those viewers that became so much closer to us by coming for a visit and having spent time with us. Now sort of, it's hard to explain. It's a special person. South African, now living in no, actually not. There are no tracks here. I don't know, maybe those buff were just nervous for some other reason. We're going to go up this way and go back towards Botanical Access Road. My last chance to try and find some sign of Karula and her children, since they did come back towards our part of the world. Liz wants to hear a woodlands kingfisher again. And what was that? Having buffalo come down to the water, which we just did. Not sure if that was before or after the buffalo came to the water. Shalom, Monty. I wondered where you've been the last few weeks. My friend Monty. Monty has been away for a couple of weeks. Away as in not watching. And I'm sorry to hear that you've found out, Monty, that we are coming to the end of this part of our lives as Juma Live drives. And thanks for your email, Monty. Monty wanted to know if I've seen the video of herd of buffalo saving the young one from the crocodile. Monty, I'm not too sure if you're referring to that famous viral clip, or actually it's a video shot by some visitors to Kruger called Battle at Kruger. It's made its round through Discovery Channel as well as the internet. Unless there's something new. Unless there's a new clip somewhere of buffalo saving a youngster from crocodile, but this one was where lion tried to get the baby buff and the buff ran into the water and the crocodile tried to get the baby buffalo, and then the big herd of buff came along and chased the lion away and got the baby away from the crocodile. I don't know, I can't remember the sequence of events. Anyways, we're going to lose signal in the dip. Be back with you shortly. But if that's the one you're referring to, Monty, then yes, I have seen that one. Could be there's a new one. I think it was originally shown on a series that's called Caught in the Act, part of the Discovery Channel. And there's a new clip actually that's going to be part of Caught in the Act, and when it comes out, I don't know if it's been aired yet, but in one of their new series or episodes of that famous, well, it's now become famous, but that fight between the Majingilans and Kinky Tail and Mr. T, when Kinky Tail was killed and one of the Majingilans was killed. It was filmed by someone at Nkoro. Horrific video, I have to be honest with you. I couldn't watch it all. It was frightening. To see two big male lions in a fight is one thing, but to see one actually killing the other in a death grip and the other one struggling, it's a harsh thing to watch. When you have a close relationship with animals and you have the knowledge of what they're capable of. I can remember there was a Japanese photographer in the Serengeti a couple of decades ago. I forget what his name is now. A fantastic photographer who lived up in East Africa for a while, and he spent years in the Serengeti taking photographs, and some of he did some stuff for National Geographic. It might have even been in the mid-80s, can't remember, but the first time I saw that photograph was in the mid-90s in East Africa, and it was a series of pages of these two male lions that were fighting in Serengeti, and the sequence of photographs that covered these few pages that culminated in this double page spread. I think it was the double page spread of the one male with the, and we're not talking about young males here, we're talking about big boys, out of 250 kilogram lions, where the one big male has the other big male's head in his jaws, and you can see the upper canine penetrating the cranium, the brain case of the other male, sort of that moment of death. And for me, that's got to sort of, that's got to be the ultimate in aggression and violence and power that nature is able to unleash. Apex predators, two of them in a deathlock like that, and that is just something else. It's like the odd photo you get of two big bull elephants having a serious fight, like only likes of which you'll get out of places like Amboseli or something, with dust flying and raw power. That's all I can explain it as, just raw power and incredible moments captured on film. And I have to tell you, having lived in the bush most of my life, you don't see that kind of power very often. I've seen male lions fighting, I've seen them having scraps and smacking each other and biting at each other, but I've never seen anything quite as powerful as one killing the other. I've seen elephants sparring thousands of times. I see it. I've seen it often, but I have yet to see two big bull elephants having a real go at each other where that raw power is so evident. I wonder, let's go down Mvubu Road back towards the dam, just in case there is still a leopard around this part of the world. Deb Marcia. Baby, but look at that. Something's eaten my hypoxis. Down to the ground. My yellow star lily. Well, it's not mine. But that's all that's left of that beautiful flower I was photographing the other day. Maybe you can understand why I get so excited when I see things like that. Because they don't last long. But something maybe needed it for medicinal value. Maybe that's why I haven't found one before, is because they just keep getting eaten. So, question from Deb Marsha? Not sure. Or Marshall. A baby buffalo born with horns? No, they're not. Their horn buds only start coming out. I suppose you could say they've got little horn buds starting, like mosquito bites on their heads. But no, the horns only start growing after a couple of months, a few weeks. All of the bovine, all of the herbivores that have horns, except for giraffe. Giraffe are born with their ossicones, but they're sort of folded flat. And as the skull hardens, they rise up, stand up. Hello Mika, wanting to know which coalition of males is dominant here at Juma at the moment. Well, I would say the Matimbas, because they're mostly resident up on Buffelshoek, but we haven't seen the Majingalians here for some time now, and well, there's been no sign of any of the Mapokos those of you who might be new viewers, the Mapokos were the original coalition that came in and caused havoc for several years back in sort of 2000, well, prior to 2010. Coalition of 6 males that disrupted the lion population in this part of the world considerably. And then last year, it was actually the beginning of last year, because it was when you started, Tara, was when we first saw the Majingilans coming in.
Yeah.
5 of them. And they... still in low range. And they kind of disrupted the Mapokos' reign. Because most of the Mapokos went back south, left, not left, they didn't leave, but it was Kinky Tail and Mr. T that were left up in this part of the world. And then there was that altercation with the Majingilans, in which the Majingilans lost one of their... No, well, they first killed... No, they lost one of theirs and then retaliated by killing Kinky Tail. Mr. T escaped with his life, somewhat injured, but had since recovered. And from that altercation, the Mapokos never really returned here. Majingilans remained in the area for a little bit until the Matimbas became a driving force and sent them further south. And now it's only really the Matimbas. I actually wonder what would have happened. I'm wondering if the fact that the Tukajima males, because we had the Tukajima males, and I'm wondering if it wasn't the fact that the spit out the hot potato. If it was the demise, the sad demise at the hands of humans of the two Kajima males, the two Kajima males who were basically the boys that had been breeding with the Kahumas. I'm wondering if their disappearance had something to do with the appearance of the Matimbas. And so lately the Matimbas have been the strongest force up in this part of the world. But they are more up on Buffelshoek than here at Juma. They sort of come down to this part. This is the southern limit of their home range. So they only come down here from time to time. Not often enough, much to the dismay of most of us, including the likes of Sil in Canada. Not often enough. All these mudwallas all filled with water. And Lynn, the sound of splashing tires. Yes, I do remember that. I used to call you Linty in those days. Luann wanting to know if an old elephant would take care of an orphan baby elephant on her own. Well, it's not likely to really be on her own. I'm not sure if that's the question. She's likely to have a family of daughters and sisters, maybe. Mostly daughters and their offspring, if she's an old female. But yes, she's likely to... I would say that she's likely to adopt... Who's that? A bush baby? Yeah. She's likely to adopt an elephant calf of a relative quicker than a foreign elephant. Oh, looky, there's a gardenia flower. I haven't seen the gardenia flowering for a while. This bit of rain might have brought out these flowers. Only one beautiful big flower on this gardenia. And actually, while it's there, I just want to get a bit warmer. I need to put something on, so I'm going to just try and leave that like that and be back shortly. Rain makes it a bit chilly. Quite appropriate maybe that. Maybe one of the last flowers that I can show you is one of the most beautiful. I'm trying to think what flowers there could have been. Either Chrysandra is one flower that hasn't come out yet that I wish I could have showed you. I'll have to photograph them at home. Chrysandra greenstocki, the Striga elegans, another beautiful flower that I haven't seen yet. There haven't been any, well there's been one. We showed you a heliotrope the other day. Not nearly as many, but they are more of a pioneer, and the reason why there were so many heliotropes a couple of years ago is because it was shortly after an exceptionally dry spell when Gowrie Dam dried up, and obviously the bush went through a rejuvenation process after a bit of a drought, and most of the things that were coming up then were pioneer plants, and the heliotrope's one of those. Although having said that, you know, I've never known, back home in the Timbervine, I've never known that area to not have heliotropes. I haven't been able to show you apple leaf in bloom the way I've seen the apple leaves in bloom on the way into Hoedspruit. Really beautiful showy trees with their mauve or lilac flowers. What else has there been? I'm trying to think. Of course, the spikethorn in their profusion when they're flowering. Now, I showed you the bride's bush earlier, the pavetta, and not the sickle bush. That's Chinese lantern, but the spikethorn, Matinus. We saw a little bit of it earlier when I was with that assassin bug and the spider eating the same kind of flying ants, winged reproductives. There was a spikethorn with very tiny flowers, and there's a different species of that spikethorn that grows down in the drainage lines that normally is very profuse. That's also known as a confetti bush, funnily enough, and I meant to bring that up when we were there because we had bride's bush. It would be nice to have just mentioned that it was a confetti bush. Hello, Mvubu. Sorry, I don't want to shine in their eyes, really. They're both looking at me. And the jasmine. Can't smell it yet. Oh, the fleas are back in their trees. Switch my lights off so that I don't disturb them. For those of you who might still be frustrated that we still don't have a microphone here at the dam, I promise you we do know of your frustration. If anything, I think Sipiwe knows of how frustrating it can be to have the camera working and not the microphone. Sipiwe used to find amazing things just based on the sounds that she used to hear at the dam. Okay, my last chance for a cat around the lodge, since there have been impala this morning. When did you hear those monkeys this evening?
No, that was also about the same time. It was about 8:30 this morning.
Oh, it was about 8:30 this morning. Oh, I was still on the microphone talking to people at that time. But then again, you know, cold, grey day, leopard's not going to stick around much. Unless it's found itself a baby impala to eat. It's not like there's a shortage of them at the moment. There, who's that? Somebody in the grass is down there. See if I can get a bit closer. There's somebody hiding in the bush. It doesn't look like a leopard to me. It is an antelope. No. Yes, Dacre. Sorry, okay. Sorry, Dacre. Go back to sleep. Mind the leopards, by the way. This marula tree. No, not this one. Here's another trip down memory lane. One evening with Misha and Induna out here, and the sticks coming across the dam wall, and then they walked out. I think it was, I'm sure it was the sticks. It was the sticks lionesses.
Yeah, it was the sticks.
Coming up this road. Or was it this tree? No, I think it was that one up there. And I think it was Mishu that was in the tree. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was this marula tree. It was right next to the road. He managed to just get up the tree in time. And he was in this marula tree with those lionesses walking underneath. Where we had this young leopard cowering in the branches of this marula tree. Sadly not here today. Lying down. I'm going to do a big loop around the open area. Sorry, Impala. He didn't get up. No need to stand on my account, young man. And he didn't. You know that I could come back here in 10 years' time. I might not be able to recall certain moments or special moments on drive, sitting in FC, talking to you on the computer, and no matter how many times I'm asked the question, what are your memories? But I tell you something, if I had to come back, even if it was in 10 years' time from now, and drive around here, I'd be able to say to you, remember that time when Karula and the cubs came out of the bushes here and they walked across the open area? Or remember that time we found Induna in a tree just off of the open area over there? He was in a marula tree with a kill, and Meshu was in the next marula tree, and they were hissing at each other across the marula trees. And I could probably do, and I suppose I was going to try and do that, but then I would have, it's hard to balance that between that and answering questions and finding your things, and it's just, it's hard. But I'd be able to come and do a drive, and almost every single road I'll be able to say, this is the spot we saw that, remember that moment? And I'm turning a corner now, and this morning I showed you a picture for those of you who were with me on the chat this morning, because we didn't go out on a drive. I was sitting inside FC and talking to you. People were sending in a few photos, and I was putting those photos, screenshots, on Wirecast. And I showed you that one photo. I'm facing the opposite direction now, but it was that one. It was in March. It was barely 2 weeks after I got here. Herman was on camera with me, March of 2009, and I was parked exactly here. And that family of Ellies was all around us over here. And that collared female came out into the road with bush on it. I think first she had it in her trunk and she was sweeping the road, and then she threw it up and it landed on her head, and it looked like this hat that she was wearing. When I'm in places that these vivid memories come back to me. I'll show you another memory moment that I have, just thinking about where I am and where we're about to go. There was a time when Karula and Misha and Induna were relatively young still. And this is where we are. Just on the left of us is called Bushbrae Site. It's where the lodge brings their guests sometimes for either a bush breakfast or a evening dinner out under the stars. a little bit different to eating out under the stars at the lodge. And it was a very small apple leaf. Let's see if we can even find the same tree. That one there. That little apple leaf. They had a kill in that tree, and Floppy Ear and her clan arrived, and all three of them were on the ground. No, Karula was in this marula tree. She was lying in this marula tree. Mission and Duna were on the, and Floppy Ear arrived. Anyways, Mishu barely made it into the tree, got a nip on his butt by one of the hyenas, if not Floppy Ear herself, before he made it into a tree. And it was just after that that Induna lost the tip of his tail. Who's that? Steenbok. There was a time that we sat just off of here. Another time, maybe a year later, we were sitting just south of where we are now with Karula, and it was almost as though she was sleeping, ignoring the impala that were getting slowly closer and closer to her. And then suddenly, Steenbok or Daika, can't see from here. Suddenly she found she had a perfect moment. She disappeared behind a bush, and it couldn't have been more than 10 seconds later. She came out of that bush with an impala in her jaws and dragged it down to the drainage line. Daika. Sorry Daika, I didn't mean to blind you. Then just down here on the left, we're on the western edge of the open area right now, just down here on the left in the drainage line, where there's this lovely big termite mound and a big mud pan, natural mud pan, where we saw Karula and the boys when they were young on numerous occasions. The tree where they had a nyala. Let's go down there. I'll show you what I'm talking about. There's this little track that goes down to this pan. Tara and I walked here one day. So we should. Ooh, termites are flying, not the big ones, but little ones. Just seen one caught in a spider's web. Tara and I were walking one day. We walked down here, and it was full of bullfrogs, African bullfrogs, giant bullfrogs. And that's when I named this bullfrog pan. There's no water in it yet. It was the day that Peter Pretorius and I came down here, when there was water in it, another year. And there was a giant cobra cruising the edge of this thing. And see that little bowl just ahead of us? It fills up with water and bullfrogs. And there was a snouted cobra cruising the edge of the water. This tree, I've had Karula and both little boys in this tree with a kill. It was a nyala. That tree at the back, we've had them in a tree there on another occasion with an impala kill. We've had a moment with her and the two boys when this has been dry, with the two little boys playing in that dried little mud pan. You know, it is, over time, to have multiple memories of leopards in the exact same place is quite unique. But there are. Juma is full of memories for me. And you, no doubt. Looking the wrong side. Somebody asked me about eagle feathers. Once upon a time, here's an eagle feather. Don't know who it's from though. It's primary. Actually, it could be a vulture. One of the outer primaries too. It's a very thin one. Always get tied up in wires. Okay, let me try this a different way then. If I'm not going to do it that way, let's try it this way. Turn around. Okay, so here where we might go over time just a little bit. What on earth's going on? Evening stations, can I get an update please? Okay, I didn't copy that. Sounded like two stations talking at once. Okay, thanks. Takes how many movers? Anyone on standby? What's the bumper? I knew you were going to say that. Okay, thanks. Hey little Daker. Now that I'm back out of there, I'm supposed to say one of Karula's cubs has got a kill, or a baby impala. Somebody was asking me earlier, I completely forgot, but I just saw something in the road that I thought was a baboon spider, but it wasn't, it was just a beetle. If baboon spiders were related to tarantulas, and yes they are. They are the African equivalent of a tarantula, known as Magellomorphs. Giant Magellomorphs. Okay, unfortunately there are a number of, well, the lock, we call a lock, the sighting is full. Not sure which one of the cubs it is. Can we call them cubs? The children. One of Karula's little ones. Got a kill up near Aubrey's Road. I'm just looking at all these impala and how they're behaving. I'm just seeing eyes, but there's something going on here on the open area. And if Karula and the other youngster are not up there, then maybe they're down here somewhere. And all these impala are running this way. I'm going to go crossing the open area in the direction that all these impala are coming from. Let's just stop a second, listen. Workshop vehicle stopped. see, the hyena also are going to be out here in the evenings, and they're going to also be killing these baby impala at the moment. There's definitely something there. I'm seeing two eyes, different to the impala eyes. This could be a hyena. I'm seeing the way its head's moving.
Hyena.
It is a hyena. And I'm sure that the hyena possibly... Let's see who this is. Find the silly feather, Mark. Why are you running away, hyena? Because you know you're naughty. You're aiming for those baby impala. Leave them alone. Find something your own size. It's not running because of us. It's running because there's another kill to go to. It's got something else to go to. Okay, maybe we need to follow hyena. The impala, I think, might have been, because they're all looking this way, might have been reacting to this hyena. Hyena's heading up towards Zoe's road. Might have lost her already, running so fast. Oh. She got the road. No. If we went straight that way, we was going back towards the den. Karula. There's an impala on her own in the dark, possibly because she's giving birth or has given birth. Not going to shine a light on her though. Only reason why an impala is on her own in the bush at this time of night like that is still bonding with her lamb maybe. Most of the herd, 99.9% of the herd. And actually it's getting bigger because all these smaller groups of impala that we've seen over the last few months are now collecting into one large herd that hangs out now in the open area. And those youngsters are all going to be collecting into their creche group or nursery group, going through the motions of learning what it is to be an impala. So when you get an impala this time of the day, well, night actually, not on the open area, it can only mean one thing, that she's either just given birth or she's going to be giving birth. And another youngster running this way. No, adult. Oh, sorry, I've got to switch off because there was a female impala running towards us and her lamb right behind her, and I can't put my lights on right now. That lamb will run straight into the car. But they're running here probably because hyena was running this way. Hopefully lamb continued after its mother. But I'm guessing they're running from that hyena that was coming this way. We'll just head up Zoe's road just a little bit. Another impala and a lamb out ahead of us. There's a lot of disruption going on, and I don't know whether it's because of hyena or because hyena are reacting to impala reacting to leopard. So far I haven't heard anything other than seeing strange impala behavior. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going up to that termite mound that normally erupts this time of the year. Although, just looking at the light, there's none of these macrotermes, big termites flying around tonight. But they might just be around the chimneys that they've built to release their reproductives. We'll just go up Zoe's road a little bit and then we're going to have to go back and say goodnight. I don't want it to end. I want you all to be with me when I'm exploring the rest of summer and finding these wonderful things that I know I'm going to be finding for the rest of summer after these kind of rains. So what you doing, termites? Nothing much, are you? No. All their chimneys are closed. They're all closed up at the moment. A few moths flying around. I suppose I could turn around there. This little open area will always remain in my memory as the place where Mishu and that young male cheetah.
I knew you were going to say that one.
You knew I was going to say that one.
I've always got the same memory for that one.
Okay, I always got the same memory for that one. Mishu and the cheetah had an eye-to-eye encounter here. I also remember a day when there was buffalo and wildebeest running together here. But no, that's not as memorable as the day of the cheetah and the leopard. Boy, oh boy. You know, you asked me this morning about memories and I just couldn't come up with anything because I was sitting behind the computer and answering questions and things. This is the kind of this is what it is about memories, is being in the places where these things happen. There's just like this flood of memories that come back to you. It's like hearing a sound or smelling a smell or just visual stimuli that trigger memories. And the amount of time I've seen Karula and the cubs just around this little area with this thatch grass that has actually become thinner and thinner over the years. It used to be so dense. All this thatching grass. Hopefully it won't be growing back as much as it did in the past. Who knows? This year it might be. C'est la vie. So my friends, my surrogate family, my ladies, no, I'm not saying goodbye yet, not just yet. In a minute, just got to get back to the open area that I'm still so reluctant to call quarantine because I don't like the name quarantine. The open area near camp. I'll say goodbye there. I couldn't find you a porcupine, I couldn't find you a honey badger, I couldn't find you a civet or a pangolin or an aardvark. I found you a rare spider eating a flying ant and an assassin bug eating a flying ant. We were still on the big five of spiders. I was saying there was the golden orb and the baboon spider, the kite spider, and I was adding the spitting spider, but I have to also include another one, and that is the net throwing spider, also known as the ogre-faced spiders. But then that also brings to mind the fishing spider, and where does that, so I say that, and then there's the trapdoor spider, and then there's the bolus spider, and I know I'm throwing out names there, but I don't have enough time to explain it to you, but those are some of the most incredible creatures that nature has produced. The bolus spider, the fishing spider, the net throwing spider, and the spitting spider, and the trapdoor spider, none of which are anything to look at. It's their habits and their hunting methods that are so remarkably unique and have been copied by humans. anyways, these impala and all their children are so spread out. There's no danger here. I can safely say that the little bit of a consternation that was happening earlier, the little bit of an upset with those impala earlier, was all due to that one hyena. Let's see, is that maybe better? Termites coming into the light. Ingwe just jumped down from the slashla, from the tree. Not enough light.
A lot of darkness. It was better.
Is that in your eyes now? Oh, you're just getting termites flying into your face.
Yeah.
Just open your mouth. Except it's better when you don't eat their wings. But these ones are not really that palatable. These are tiny little ones. I don't know what to say, everybody. I really don't know what to say. I'll see you tomorrow. How's that? Tara will be on drive in the morning. I'll be on camera. Is Sipiwe staying overnight?
Yeah.
Okay, so Sipiwe will be here and she'll be directing in the morning again. Termites. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this. Lehitraot, bis bald, tot weer ziens, and all the other languages that say the same thing. Till we meet again. Bye, everybody. No, not bye. See you later. Don't know how to do this because I just want to walk away without saying goodbye.
Thank you very much, guys, for... Sorry about that. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us for the afternoon drive. Myself, Sipiwe, Tara, and Marc. I hope everyone enjoyed it. It was fantastic drive with Marc today. We learned a lot of things, a lot of flowers. We see a lot of animals. So I hope everyone enjoyed it. So for myself, Sipiwe now, I'm still here for the morning drive, but for now, I will take a little break. Then I will come back just for some few minutes to chat with you guys on Wildlife, whatever it's Facebook. So I'm still in here. So thank you very much for joining me. It was a fantastic drive with you guys. So, and I'm also happy and just want to say thank you for everyone for the warm welcome. But it was the short time and the short drive, but hopefully I enjoy it. So don't worry. As I said last time when I leave, that I will meet you again, guys. So I'll still say so. I will meet you again. Maybe one day I will be back here in FC. No one knows. So enjoy with us, guys. Cheers, everyone. Thanks for the question that you sent us. I really enjoy it. So yeah, even if we didn't answer all of the question about the demo, but hopefully everyone maybe you'll get the answer that there is no dead thing at the dam care. Something was there. So thanks, guys, for joining us. Thank you. Enjoy.